Hello, welcome to Network Africa. I am Amarachi Ubani. Congo's former rebel leader, Bosco Ntaganda, has been at The Hague, where he has pleaded not guilty to 18 charges of murder, rape, and the recruitment of child soldiers. He made his not guilty plea in a barely audible voice, standing in the dock with a signature pencil moustache. The court has been gathering evidence on the case from more than 2,000 alleged victims, including former child soldiers. The 41-year-old general is accused of killing as many as 800 civilians in separate attacks on a number of villages between 2002 and 2003, and is also accused of raping girl soldiers and keeping them as sex slaves. After evading capture for 7 years since the ICC first issued warrants for his arrest, General Ntaganda handed himself in at the U.S. Embassy in the Rwandan capital, Kigali. The UN Refugee Agency says it has recorded a large number of Burundians fleeing into neighboring Tanzania, afraid of the violence in the country. A country's representative for UNHCR, Joyce Men-Cole, revealed the agency has begun negotiating with the government of Tanzania to reopen 2 closed camps to accommodate the influx. So far, more than 90,000 Burundians have crossed into Tanzania since the month of April, hoping to escape the violence that erupted as a result of President Pierre Nkurunziza's bid for a 3rd term. Let's take it to one of our leading stories now. There was a heated debate in the Parliament of South Africa as members tried to decide on whether or not to impeach President Jacob Zuma. It's certainly not the first, as our correspondent Betty Dibiah confirms. The motion was tabled last month by Democratic Alliance leader Mmusi Maimane. The party argued that Zuma violated his presidential oath to uphold the constitution and the country's laws and called for an ad hoc committee to be set up to establish that. Things played out in the president's favor as Parliament rejected investigating him for possible impeachment. And it's important to note that the ruling party, that's the ANC, has the majority seats in Parliament, so you can understand how this went. That might have been a plus as well. The motion was defeated by 211 votes against 100 in favor. We'll be coming to our correspondent, Betty Dibiah, for more on this story. But let's understand that there have been reasons behind the Parliament seeking to impeach President Jacob Zuma in the past. However, on this occasion, it did not have anything to do with his lavish spending on renovation, but had everything to do with his hosting skills a couple of months ago. President Zuma is accused of allowing Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir to evade an arrest warrant and leave the country in June. The president accused of masterminding genocide in Darfur was allowed to leave an African Union summit in South Africa and fly home in defiance of a local court ruling ordering his detention under a warrant from the International Court. South Africa, which is a member of the ICC, is obliged to enforce warrants from the Hague-based tribunal, but that was not the case. Betty Dibiah joins us now with more on this. Betty, thank you for joining us on Network Africa. What happened?
Thank you, Amar.
Well, great to have you with us. What happened really about the debates in Parliament, and what happened after?
Well, the basic thing was that the main opposition party, that's the Democratic Alliance, DA, led by Mmusi Maimane, brought a motion to for a vote to establish an ad hoc committee looking at the capability of the president to hold office. You know, if not, maybe he will be impeached. But so that generated a lot of debate. And he initially stemmed it on the fact that he failed to arrest the Sudanese president, Omar al-Bashir, when he visited South Africa. Not on a state visit, but as a guest or as a member of the African Union. So that generated a lot of debate, division. The EFCC, the Economic Freedom Fighters, that's the EFF led by Julius Malema, supported that motion, but not for the failure to arrest Omar al-Bashir. They are very pro-African regarding these issues like the Rome Statute and all that. The United Democratic Movement, UDM, didn't support the motion because it doesn't agree that al-Bashir should have been arrested. Some other, of course, the ANC did not support that, but the other smaller parties, IFP, that's the Inkatha Freedom Party, supported it up to a point, you know. But at the end of the day, the vote was majorly against that motion 211 against 100 with 17 abstentions. So the motion was rejected. But it raised a lot of things to show you how vibrant the parliament is and has become, especially with the entrance of the EFF, that's the Economic Freedom Fighters, after the elections last year.
Result of the votes in Parliament, could it have anything to do with the ANC having the majority in Parliament?
I didn't hear that.
I mean, the motion, which was defeated by 211 votes, did it have anything with the ANC being the majority party in Parliament?
Of course, that will count on the part, it will count for the ANC. ANC has more than 200 members of Parliament. You have 400 seats in the Parliament. Of course, that would count in support of the ANC. But in this case, it's not even only the ANC that didn't support that motion. A lot of people felt that it didn't have much substance. And there is this debate that the debate should be between the Diplomatic Immunities and Privileges Act against the Rome Statute. And the Rome Statute, we know, just like Nigeria, South Africa has internalized it, it's been ratified. So it's part of their constitution. And it's not just the ANC that didn't support. There were other small parties, I told you earlier, like the UDM, APC, and some others. But they asked them to take away the issue of Omar al-Bashir and let them talk about the president's ability to hold office. But the former ANC spokesperson, that's Jackson Temple, a member of parliament, says, look, whatever it is, you've abused the president so much, but there are provisions in the constitution to talk about impeaching the president if he has acted dishonorably, violated the constitution, serious misconduct, or he's incapable of performing his duties. And he believes that none of that has been done. So there was no ground for even that kind of issue to come up.
Well, but Betsy, just very quickly, because I know I'm supposed to let you go now, but very quickly, has the president responded to this? Because you did mention, was yesterday when we were discussing this, that this debates are very regular for South Africa's parliament.
Well, you know, the president survived
Our correspondent, Betty Dibiah, who has been reporting on the parliamentary debate on whether or not President Jacob Zuma should continue as a president. But still to come, Kenya seeks to strengthen its anti-doping law after 2 of its athletes were found guilty of using performance-enhancing drugs. That's the moment. Please stay with us.